Last month I missed February favorites, so today I'm recording February and March's favorites. I'm gonna need to get a beer. I was gonna put it off a little bit more, not the beer, shooting the video, but I was like, you know what, I need to shoot it today. Today's towards the end of March, and I kind of want to be a little bit more on schedule, so let me grab a beer from the kegerator real quick. Whoa, 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 that's a lot of foam. That's all right, it's just a little overcarbonated here. We'll just let that settle out for a second. And while we are waiting, we're gonna be drinking the Red Room IPA. It's a red IPA from one of my favorite breweries around here. My friends at Bozeman Brewing make really good beer. I usually have one of their beers on tap at my place. I do have 6 taps there, and usually I'll have mostly my own beer. I have 1 commercial tap on here, and as I said, Bozeman Brewing Red Room Red IPA. It's pretty good. Funny thing, I was about to shoot the video last night. Now it's the next day, and my neighbor came over, knocked on the door. We talked for a few minutes, and then it was dinner time, so I didn't have a chance to shoot the video last night, so we're shooting it today. So let's sit down and talk about it. I have a couple categories to talk about for my favorite things this month, and actually, I'm gonna refer to it and use it the whole time. So I'm gonna talk about Trello just for a second. And I can just show you what I have going on. So I use Trello, and I have been using Trello a little bit more here recently, in that my assistant and I are using Trello to help manage the content for the YouTube channel. So I actually have my notes right here in my Trello app, and I can get to it easily on my phone. So if I think of something, say when I'm at the gym, I could type it in, or if I'm at my desk, there's a web app. So Trello's awesome, and it's a nice way. I could actually explain a little bit on how I'm using it. If people are interested, leave a comment if you want to see how I'm using Trello and how the team's using Trello to manage my content, so I could show more on that if you're interested. So just let me know, leave a comment, let me know what you want to see on the Trello side. But I use Trello for a lot of different things, and there are a lot of tools that you can use, but for me, Trello seems to be like the easiest to show other people how to use it. For example, Mackenzie, my assistant, is using Trello with me on this YouTube content, and she literally got no instructions from me. I just said, we're gonna start using Trello, have a look around, and once you poke around a bit, you'll figure it out. I'll go over some stuff later. And there's essentially no learning curve, really straightforward. So Trello is awesome. A couple other apps I've been using a lot is Calm, that's a meditation app. And I have been meditating every day for like, I think about 100 days. So I started in December, and some days are, a longer period than others. I've been using Calm for my guided meditation, and again, I'm using it like 90% of the time or so. For keyword research, I have been testing out other tools and using other tools just to see how they are. I know a lot of times there are updates to tools, so tools that I didn't like in the past are sometimes better, but currently I am using SEM Rush quite a lot. So there's an affiliate link below if you're interested in getting a trial. I'm using Ahrefs a lot as well, but not as much for keyword research, but more for backlink checking. So another good app from an SEO standpoint. And finally, the last app or tool that I'll mention is Zapier. And Zapier is a web tool that allows you to link up different apps. Zapier is a really convenient way to interface different apps that don't have any communication channel, but I guess Zapier ties together the APIs and they're able to work together. So for me, I've been using a lot of Zaps, as they call them, to link up like YouTube videos with, Facebook. So if I publish something on YouTube, it'll be shared on Facebook automatically, so I don't have to do anything extra. Additionally, when my editor finishes editing a video, she'll move it to a specific folder in Google Drive, and Zapier detects when the file is placed in the folder, and then it'll automatically upload it to YouTube. I don't have to take that step anymore. There's a lot of other stuff you could do. I mean, there's almost an unlimited number of things that you can do with Zapier because you can interface it with multiple different apps at the same time. It's been super useful, and it's a great way to save time for things that you're going to do over and over again, where you don't need to specifically check or you don't want to do things manually. If you can move data automatically, it saves a lot of time. So food and drink. I have been making kombucha at home. So if you're unfamiliar with kombucha, it is fermented tea, basically. So it's fermented tea, and I got into it because I didn't drink any alcohol in January of this year. And I wanted to drink other stuff. Because I brew beer, I'm comfortable and I enjoy fermenting beverages, and I have friends who make kombucha. So I asked for a SCOBY. If you're interested in knowing more about kombucha, let me know in the comments. And actually, if you just search for things on YouTube, you'll probably find all sorts of information about kombucha. But it tastes like, kind of a tea beverage with a little bit of vinegar. There's some acidity in there. They say it's quite healthy because it has live cultures in there, and it looks kind of gross. Actually, let me go show you real quick. So kombucha, actually, like I said, it looks a little gross. It looks like snotty and slimy. And it actually feels really weird. This part up here is called a SCOBY. That's a symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. SCOBY, that's right, yeah. So it's a clever name, and yeah, it literally does look like kind of nasty, but it's fermented tea, and it tastes pretty good. So if you haven't tried it before, ignore what it looks like, please. It actually tastes pretty good. So give it a shot. You could buy it at the store. So with kombucha, you can make like different flavors. So I've put berries in some, I put ginger and lemon, and others. Sometimes you just drink it plain, but it's a versatile drink, and it's been interesting to make that. It's a lot faster to make than beer. It's literally like making sweet tea and then putting the SCOBY into a big jar. Sanitation is important, but not nearly as important as it is with beer. So kombucha's been fun. I've been drinking coffee, a ton of coffee. I love coffee. I drink it a lot anyway. Every now and then I'll like roast my own beans. So I don't know if people are into that, but I've actually, purchased some green coffee beans, and then you could, just roast them at home. So it's pretty easy, and you get like the freshest coffee, and you get really high quality beans for a fraction of the price. I'm paying maybe $5 to $7 per pound, and then I could roast it at home, and it's like premium kind of beans. So really good and really fresh. So I'll roast the beans one day, and then I'll be drinking the coffee like 24 hours later. So pretty cool. I enjoy roasting the coffee, and I enjoy like really fresh coffee. So it's been awesome. And for beer, I do drink my fair share of beer as well. I have really enjoyed Trippels lately. So I like that style of beer. I like Belgian beers a lot, and I started getting more Trippels in the last couple weeks and just really enjoyed drinking them. So if you're unfamiliar with a Trippel, it's a Belgian style beer. Usually they'll call it like, there's some Trappist breweries and some Abbey type breweries, but usually it's just a light colored beer. It's typically about like 8 to 10% alcohol or so. So a little bit higher alcohol, but light in color, light in body, and has a nice spicy, sometimes fruity flavor. I love them. I've been getting a new Belgium Trippel here in the last couple weeks. It's readily available around here, and like I said, I really enjoy them. So I've been having a few of those a week. And now we'll talk about some tech gear gadgets. So I got a new camera. It's called a Yi, that's YI. So it's a Yi 4K action camera. I never thought I would like need or want an action camera, but as I am shooting more videos and seeing, the capabilities of, these super small cameras, I was like, well, I think I'm gonna check one out. And the Yi it's fairly high quality, comparable, I hear, to like a GoPro, but it's a fraction of the price. I got one of those, and it was great to shoot like in-car footage. So I went down to visit some friends in Denver, about a 12-hour drive, and I mounted the camera inside my car. So I was able to get like, while I was driving, I was just able to like hit record really easily, have my hands on the wheel, and have some interesting time lapse. Additionally, I got this like a selfie stick with a gimbal on there, and the gimbal keeps it level, keeps it stable. So if you're moving around, if I say went to go for a jog or something and wanted to film some stuff for whatever reason, maybe I have my dog Georgie with me, something like that, I could use the selfie stick with the gimbal and the Yi 4K camera and get pretty good footage. Additionally, it's just kind of fun to have a huge wide angle camera and like not have to carry around a larger, DSLR, which is what I'm filming on now. Other tech stuff that's been working out well is lights. So when I first started shooting more YouTube videos, the lighting was really terrible. And Lights aren't particularly expensive. In fact, the lighting kit that I got was only, I think it was like $60 or $70 or so. You know, it comes with a carrying case, it comes with bulbs. I think it's an 700 or 800 watt set of lights. So each of the bulbs is, you know, roughly 400 watts. They're fluorescent, so it's not actually like 400 watts like pulled through the cord or anything. It's a much smaller like real wattage, but anyway, they're bright and it really helps the image quality. So turns out right now I'm actually in front of a window. It's just bright right now. But the interesting thing is when I was filming and shooting video before, I didn't have any consistency. So if I didn't film at the right time of day, I was like struggling to get things bright enough. And sometimes I would just have to not shoot any video because it wasn't bright enough. But now with the light kit that I have, it's very bright. I can make it consistent. Now, if I have the opportunity to get in front of a window like I am right now, I'll usually do that, even though hopefully it's not too bright right now, but it's great to have like the natural lighting, and coming through a window, it's not so direct, it's sort of reflecting in, and it's fairly good lighting. So I'll do this if I can, but these big lighting kits, I mean, they're nice, they're really consistent, and they're relatively inexpensive for how well they work. So I have sort of it's like the upside down umbrella kind of reflectors that maybe you remember from when you go to like a portrait studio, they'll have those sort of big lights. Additionally, I have a lighting set that called Neewer, and I think it's like 160 LEDs, and it will actually fit on top of the camera. So I haven't been using it as much. I have a mic on top of the camera right now, but I'll often use that smaller 160 LED lighting kit on my desk, right? So if I'm doing a live stream, a lot of times I'll put that on my desk to get a little bit more even lighting. And again, it's improved the quality a ton. In fact, a lot of people were asking, you know, once I started shooting better quality video, what I was using, what camera was it? Well, it turns out a lot of it, I could credit the lighting kit. So by having like good bright lighting, that helped. And then it's the lens that I have here, which is actually it's a Canon EF 24mm f2.8 STM lens. Very small. It blurs the background, the bokeh as they call it. So it blurs the background, and it's actually decent for relatively low lighting as well. So it's not a zoom lens, but it provides, you know, really sharp images, and it's small and relatively inexpensive. Next, I'll talk about a couple TV shows that I've been watching. So my wife and I finally got into the Netflix series Making a Murder. So it's like a real crime documentary style series. These are like real hour-long episodes, sometimes over an hour. So it's an hour-long episode. There's 10 of them. I won't tell you anything about the show in case you haven't watched it before. It's very intense. It is a, you know, real crime documentary. So it gets pretty, you know, sort of emotional and heated. We were really invested in it, and we usually binge watch stuff if we have the ability to, but we won't watch like 5 episodes at a time. We'll usually watch like 1 episode a day consecutively, but it's rare when we like do that every day. This Making a Murderer series, we watched like the whole series in like 8 days or something, 7-8 days. So there were a couple days where we watched 2 episodes in a row, which is kind of a lot for us. We usually don't sit and watch like 2 hours of TV, but we would do that. Great storytelling, crazy story in general. And again, I won't mention a thing. No one spoil anything in the comments, but let me know if you watched it. The other show that we are watching is Seinfeld. I've seen a lot of Seinfeld episodes, but I never watched from like episode 1, like throughout. So I've seen them in syndication. I've seen them in probably the majority of the episodes, but never in order. We bought Hulu, which actually has Seinfeld on there now. So we started with the first episode. I think we're on like season 4 right now, but we're going through, and it's pretty awesome to see it all together, and I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a lot by watching Seinfeld. So pretty funny show. Let me know if you're a fan of Seinfeld. I mean, there are so many like popular culture references from Seinfeld. I definitely didn't watch it when it was on TV, like live in the 90s. I did watch the syndication, but it's exciting to watch it from the beginning all the way. Going a little deeper on entertainment, I have been watching, YouTube like I do. One thing that I finally upgraded is YouTube Red. I wasn't a paid YouTube Red subscriber, and I just started doing it. And I have to say, it's pretty awesome because you get music, right? So you have like a music app that you could download. And I didn't have a music app previously. I've gone up and down with Pandora to Spotify, and I've had periods where I've used each of those, but I was kind of in a lull and I didn't want to pay like just for Spotify at this point in time. So turns out YouTube Red is great. They have some original shows. They have the music app, of course. And then if you're just watching regular YouTube videos, which I do a lot, I probably watch 30, 40 minutes a day, at least, sometimes more. You don't have to watch commercials then. So it just plays the shows and it's great. Let me know if you use YouTube Red. Just curious how many people out there are users of YouTube Red. Again, I find the music app pretty cool, and a lot of times I'll turn off the videos, play the music, and then I'll just have music going on, which is great. It seems like the algorithm for the music app is pretty good. So if you like, if you thumbs up the music videos that you like, it has a pretty good idea of the kind of music you like and what other people like. Tons of data available for YouTube, so they make good recommendations, and I find like the playlist, just like the regular playlist for certain songs, are pretty solid, and I like listening to them. And the last thing I'll mention, this is not really a favorite thing, but it's something that I've been dealing with over the last few weeks, and that is my crawl space. So we had record snow here in Bozeman this year, or so I'm told. So there was a lot of snow, and a lot of this snow melted in the last like few weeks. So our crawl space flooded. In fact, most of our neighbors around us, their crawl space flooded too. So we have what they call sump pumps. It sort of gets a reservoir or pulls a reservoir of water down there. You put the pump in this reservoir and it pumps it out, right? It gets it out of the crawl space. The problem is so much snow melted in a short amount of time and the ground was saturated already. Our pumps couldn't keep up. So even with our pumps pumping water out, a lot of people had flooding in their crawl spaces. We had flooding in the crawl space. It was very close for our furnace. Our furnace is down in the crawl space. The water got within inches of the furnace, and it would have been very expensive if the furnace got wet. That would not be a good thing. As it stands, a lot of stuff did get wet down there, so I was actually crawling around, trudging around in several inches of water as I was trying to, pump water out. One of our pumps died, so we had to replace a pump, and then the new one died, and there were a lot of issues. So not a favorite thing, but it is cool now that I think we're out of the water now, so to speak. I mean, it actually just snowed today, but I think our pump is oversized enough that we can pump enough water. So even if we have like a lot of rain or snow, I think we're in good shape. Those are my favorites. Let me know if you are fans of any of the things that I mentioned. What beers are you drinking? That's what I want to hear about. What beers are you drinking? I know weather's different all over. If you're down further south, it's probably warmer. You're getting into some springtime beers. Here it's still a little chilly. There's literally a few inches of snow that just came down today. But let me know in the comments, what kind of beer do you enjoy this time of year? Thanks.